Hey folks, welcome back. So we got a lot to talk about in this video today, but the main star of the show is inside that case right there. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Outd stainless steel alcohol stove. Let's check it out. Alright everybody, welcome back. So we're going to open this up right off the bat. There's a reason I'm doing this one today. I think that for people with limited space in an indoor environment, if you're careful, alcohol stoves are an excellent way for you to cook your meals during an emergency or power outage. And with all the talk we've heard about power outages coming and, blackouts and trouble with the grid, this is definitely something you need to start thinking about. I know in my home here, I have an electric stove. If the power goes out, I don't have a stove. I don't have a way to cook. Along with, I don't have a way to make coffee. I don't have a way to boil water. There's a whole lot of things that go into this if I'm not prepared for it. So, of course, having a ton of different types of things here that I test for you on the channel is great. But if you have a smaller environment, if you live in, say, a studio apartment or RV or whatever, and you don't have a way to cook your food, and maybe you're nervous about using propane or isobutane or anything like that because of fumes and CO, carbon monoxide, you probably want to go with an alcohol stove. I think they're the safest option out there for indoor cooking. They're also great for outdoor cooking, and as you can tell, this really isn't all that big. So this uses a very unique design to get its job done. As you can tell, this sits inside a little thing here, like that, and the legs are kind of all folded in. So what you want to do, you'll see those notches on the bottom there. You'll pull down, okay, you'll turn, and that notch will fit on this side. And there you go, nice and sturdy. So you'll do that with all the legs, and they'll snap into place, like this. There we go. Then you have a lid here, which is also your snuffer ring, or your snuffer cap. And you have an aluminum interior inside the stove that you're going to fill with alcohol in here. You'll notice it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, and that's because the alcohol will boil and start to become a gas, and the flame will come out of these side stainless steel section here, these side holes. So all in all, this makes for a very, very good stove. Now there are some caveats with it. One of the issues with it is it's a bigger stove. Very handy if you're going to be cooking with your home stuff already, your home pots and pans that you use every day. Maybe you'll want to use some that are a little bit smaller, but as you can tell, it's got a pretty big surface area here, so that's great if you don't want to go out and buy expensive cookware. But if you already have some camp cookware, there are some things that won't work with it, and one of them happens to be the Stanley Cook Kit. It'll sit right on it and snuff it out, or it will tip over. Putting it on here is going to be difficult because the edges of this are rounded, and it kind of tapers down and then rounds. So it's not going to fit on there as well as you would like it, all right? One of the solutions to that is just get a bigger Stanley kit, like I have here, okay? And that will work perfectly. As you can tell, this is water in it right now, but as you can tell, that will fit on there absolutely perfectly. So it's a very simple little kit. It has a nice little vinyl carrying bag to it. Not super heavy. 18 jets all the way around. 18 of them all the way around the item. Okay? And it uses about 3 ounces of fuel. Now, I want to get into fuels because I actually have gotten an email from one of my subscribers, and she was wanting to know what's the best fuel to use, and she was using some 200 proof methanol stuff. I'll tell you one thing. It looked like a Trangia stove, and that thing was going on overdrive. I'd be getting ready to weld stuff with how powerful that thing was burning. So one of the things I told her was you can get heat. This stuff here, it's Gasline antifreeze. You can get this in Walmart. You can get this in any auto parts store. Get the yellow bottle, not the red stuff. And this stuff will work wonders. This works really, really well. Burns really clean, won't leave any soot on your pans. Another option is if you have a Home Depot near you, you can get this clean strip, denatured alcohol. This is awesome for camp stoves. Pretty much will burn just as clean and just as well. For our uses today, we're going to be using the heat, and I am going to just pour it in there. One of the things I want to do, though, is if you're doing this on a surface that could possibly melt, because that's a stove that's going to get hot underneath, you want to put something underneath it. So remember that too. If you're in your kitchen and you have Formica countertops that might melt or whatever, or bubble up, you want to put something underneath this. So I'm going to fill this with alcohol, bring you back, and we are going to boil, I believe, 4 cups of water because another thing in this video that I wanted to share with you was this extremely old backpacker's pantry meal. This is not like what you think it is. This isn't one of these things where you just dump in the water, seal the bag, and let it sit. This actually requires you kind of cook the macaroni and then add a cheese sauce separately. And so we're going to try it out. I did open it up to make sure the cheese sauce and everything was good in there. I believe I bought this in 1998. If you look at the price here, it's from Outdoor World. And I haven't shopped in Outdoor World in California in years. And it was $2.95. And I recently took this out of a bug-out bag that I kept leaving it in there going, it's fine, it's fine. I want to take it out and test it. So I put something in there to replace it. So we're going to be trying that out. So let me get the alcohol set up here. We're going to turn off the lights too. And I'm going to show you how quick it blooms. And then we're going to time. We have 4 cups of water for that entree. So the burn time is going to be a little bit longer. I'm going to put a little more alcohol in there. I'm going to see how long it takes for it to A, bloom, and B, boil 4 cups of water. So there's no need to be really scientific with this. We are boiling 4 cups of water, so I am putting a little bit of extra fuel in there because it's going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to turn off the lights here really quick so you guys can see. I just have the top light on in the room here. Get the lights turned off. I want you to see how long it takes to bloom because this is fairly quick. I mean, it's not like a super fast Trangia or something, but it is fairly quick. And it will, once it heats up, it will start to bloom out the side. And remember too, we are using more rubbing alcohol than normal, or more fuel than normal. Today we're using heat, not rubbing alcohol. You can use 91% rubbing alcohol and you'll get no soot from it. The lower the percentage of alcohol, the more soot you'll get. So you can do that and you will get a pretty good burn. But I wanted to see about how long it takes to bloom. And I actually started this off, oh wow, bright light. Anyway, there you go. So we got about 6 seconds in. I started it off camera. So we'll see how long it takes to bloom. But all in all, I'm really liking this stove because it's kind of a crossover between something you take camping. All right, there you go. There's your first little, there they go. They're starting to come out. Now I can always help it along by kind of pushing the fumes back down again. And remember, you're not going to get a huge bloom just yet because you've got, let's see, there we go, 32 seconds. Let me see if I can zoom you in on that. 32.13 seconds and it's blooming. You're not going to get a huge bloom right away because we have so much fuel in there. All right, let's put the lights back on and put the pot on and see how long it takes to boil 4 cups of water. All right, I got my 4 cups of water in here. Now this is the larger Stanley 2-person cook set. I'm going to put that in there. And you see how easy that sits right on top there, no problem at all. I am going to cover it. Let's reset our timer because I still have it open from, there we go. That won't be as bad on the eyes now because we're not dark. So that's started. We are going to cover it up. And I will bring you back as it progresses. And I'll show you about how long that takes to boil 4 cups of water. It's going to be a little bit longer than 2 cups or 1 cup, of course, because there's more water. But I want to see how well it works. Then we're going to do the entree here. Now this is kind of tricky, and I'll explain this one to you. This is the cheese sauce. You're going to mix that separately. That has nothing to do with what we're boiling here. We're actually going to be boiling the pasta in here. Let's add macaroni to 4 cups of boiling water. Cook until tender. Drain off excess water, and then add 1 cup of water to cheese sauce and blend. Add sauce to macaroni and cook over a low heat for about 4 minutes. So for those of you interested in quick, trail meals, this isn't the one. I actually, and I'll be honest with you, I had this for how many years, right? I never once looked at that. So that's a mistake on my end because if I'm thinking, oh, I'm kind of hungry, I'm going to make a quick meal, and I sit down and go, oh, wait, this is a little more involved than I thought. So it's good that I rotated it out. It's also good that I'm actually paying attention to it. When I first started prepping, I wasn't paying attention to things like that. I was just buy, get everything I could possibly think of, and not really paying attention to its use. So it's definitely good that I've evolved a whole lot in prepping. So we're going to let that water boil and bring you back once. So you can see it's been about 3 minutes, 40 seconds. we are starting to get bubbles on the bottom. Nowhere near boiling, but it's actually getting there. And remember, it's 4 cups, not 2 cups, so this is going to take a little bit longer. All right, bring you back in a few. All right, we're at 6 minutes, 58 seconds, 59, about 7 minutes. We are starting to see a bit of a boil going on. That's a pretty good start. Now remember too, I may have to lower this flame a little bit once I put my noodles in there, otherwise it might boil over, because remember, we're at 4 cups. We're pretty high up there already, and then we got to add the volume of the pasta. I'm really doing this just to test the entree, but while we're waiting for that to finish boiling, I am going to cut this thing open here, this cheese sauce, and see just how stale and old it might be. Actually, I think it's fine. It's just powder. Just powdered cheese. So I'm going to pour it over here so I don't make a mess on my counter. And it says to mix it with a 1/4 cup of water. Then we're going to mix this in once we're done with the pasta, once it's fully cooked. So I'm going to stir this up, and it's kind of chunky, but it is breaking up and stirring up. And there we go. So it is breaking up a little bit. Just going to take a little bit of work. Other than that, we're going to let this boil up, finish up, and then we're going to put our pasta in and see how it comes out. Okay? 8:21, 56 seconds. Rolling boil. As you can see, we will put the pasta in, and I got to take this thing off here. Dump that in, kind of start mixing stuff around. It really isn't that much pasta. I could have probably done this with 2 cups. Really does kind of overcover everything. A little bit of cheese sauce on my spoon, but that's all right. So just keep an eye on this. You got to keep stirring it every few minutes. Keep an eye on it, and don't let it overflow. And generally, by stirring, you'll be able to do that. You know, it's just like if you leave this on the stove, on your regular conventional stove top, it's going to overflow if you don't turn the heat down. Well, we can't turn the heat down on an alcohol stove, but we can kind of keep an eye on it, keep stirring it, and if it seems that it's going to get over to the top, you can always pick it up, give it a minute, put it back on again. So, let's let this cook up, let these get tender, and I will bring you back once that's ready. We'll mix everything together. Now it says to mix this all together and let it heat up with the sauce. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to need to do that, but we'll see. See, I'm going to pick it up now, take it a little bit off the heat, and then put it back on when it starts to get a little too high. So I'm going to kind of do this back and forth a little bit and bring you back when it's ready to go. Alright, so it looks like they're soft enough now. We're going to strain them off. Just give you a look at the noodles themselves. They're actual regular noodles. Nothing fancy about them. I don't think they were freeze-dried. I think they were maybe boiled or dehydrated or something. But they did take a while to hydrate. So when you're looking at a meal like this, it's going to take a while. The stove's still going strong. All in all, I'm pleased with the stove. It's done a great job. It held enough liquid to boil this and make the noodles, so that's pretty darn good. And that's why I did fill it up to about here, instead of down here where I'd normally fill it up just to boil some water for a quick entree. The cheese sauce does taste fine. Looks kind of dark, but it tastes fine. So, actually, stove just went out. So that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Anyway, we're going to strain this and bring it back, and we're going to mix it together. And I'm going to give you my final thoughts on the stove, and we'll try out a Backpacker's Pantry entree that's probably a good 20 years old. So, we'll be right back. Actually, the stove hasn't gone out. It's still a little, it was burning in here, but there was no more coming out the sides. So just to be sure, we're going to cover that up. And I'm going to take this spoon out of here for a sec. I'm going to put this cheese sauce in here. That's all strained and nice now. So I'm going to dump in the cheese sauce. And let me tell you something. I think you guys understand this is a whole lot more involved than what we're used to with Mountain House entrees and stuff on the trail. So I definitely appreciate the easier made items. Now, I'm probably going to use this to eat it out of, so that's about good for me. Mix it together there. And there you go. You got some awesome, tasty mac and cheese. So, the stove does its job, definitely, even on something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, like this here. Let's toss that in there. And, gotta say, I'm impressed with it. It's very inexpensive. It's like $21. It's $20.99 I'm like, come on, guys, just put $21. But it's a very inexpensive, neat little stove. Definitely was up to the task of doing a larger, kind of more involved entree, if you could call it that. You know, it's kind of a side dish, really. But definitely did its job. Let's see if it tastes good. Because after all those years, I don't know how this pasta is going to taste. Yep. Tastes like Kraft macaroni and cheese. Can't beat it. So, let me clean up my mess. I'm going to give you some final information on this. And I'll show you how it packs up. And we'll finish up the video. Alright, so I'm alive after eating that. Didn't eat all of it. Saved a little for later. But it actually was pretty good. Just really old. So, in the future, there's your one lesson for the video today. Rotate your stuff more often. I kind of forgot how old it was in this last time when I redid my bug out bag repack video. I looked at it and said, $2.95 for an entree? Oh no, that's got to be old. And then I saw the Outdoor World. And that was a place I used to shop at in California when I first started prepping. So I knew it was pretty old. Anyway, to take the stove apart, here you go with the stove. It should be cooled off by now. And it is. Basically what you're going to do is put your lid back on it, okay? You're going to pull down on these and just spin them around. Pull down, spin it around. And I know you think it's going to interfere, but it won't. You pull down and spin it around. They'll lock into place like that on the bottom. If you can see that little notch there. And then you're going to stick it into your bag. The bag isn't always easy to get it in there. When you're putting it in, you're going to feel like, wait a minute, this bag is too small. But it isn't. You'll get it in there. Just have to get it over that bottom. But the bag is a nice addition. You know, I'd carry it with or without. It doesn't matter to me. It does seal up nicely. And for 21 bucks, that is a pretty darn powerful alcohol stove. And like I said, if you live in a confined space, you know, an RV, maybe you live in a single wide trailer that you're not concerned about running propane or isobutane in, or an apartment in a city on the 50th floor of a building, whatever. Something like this can be a very convenient way to have a way to cook in emergencies. You can even buy two of them, you know, and have a dual burner setup without the danger of, you know, carbon monoxide or, you know, you still want to be careful, but they're a whole lot safer, and that's why they use these. Like I said before, they use alcohol stoves on boats down in the galley, so it's safe to use inside without ventilation or without a lot of ventilation. Of course, there's some natural ventilation that takes place. If I were going to use this, say, in an apartment building, because that's my experience coming from New York City, tiny apartment buildings, I'd crack my window. I'd probably do it over where the stove or cooking area is in my place, and I'd be good to go. Wouldn't really worry about it. So that's the Outd stainless steel alcohol camp stove. The dimensions on it, when it's opened, is 4 by 3.6 by 3.5 inches. Weighs about 4 ounces. So not really a heavy item, not the super lightest. You know, it's not like the 25-gram titanium ultralight isobutane stove. But again, if you're getting stuff for emergencies and you want to use this indoors, you know, and you're bugging in, which is a most likely scenario during any kind of disaster, something like that can make you some coffee, can heat up some oatmeal, maybe even cook you a little breakfast very, very easily. And you saw that thing ran for a long time with that alcohol in it. It not only ran for the whole 8 minutes when it boiled, but then it ran another like 5 after to soften the pasta up. So definitely a good deal. And for 21 bucks, can't beat it. All right, folks, the link will be down below, but don't forget to check out all our other links. I don't know if you guys knew about it, but a while back, we started having some merch down below here. We got coffee cups, t-shirts. Now, I'm not sure how many of you guys want to walk around in a t-shirt that says Iridium 242, but if you do, we got them down below there. The coffee cups are kind of cool. I actually need to get one for myself here. Below that, we have our Jace Medical link. Our Jace Medical link down there is a link that will allow you to get antibiotics prescribed to you for emergencies by a United States-based doctor after a telehealth visit. And it's all legal and above board, and you know you're getting the real stuff. You're not going on some strange website buying it from some foreign country. You're actually getting antibiotics prescribed to you with a booklet and a support phone number to call. Should you say, hey, the booklet says my fever should be this and I should take that, but I don't think I should. You got a phone number to call, okay? Along with the fact that you have the booklet that tells you if this is happening, take this for this many doses. If that's happening, take that for that many doses. So essentially, it's a really good deal, a really safe way to get your family some emergency antibiotics. The kits are really awesome. I did a video on it. You can check back on my older videos. Anyway, below that is our Amazon affiliate store. I try to put everything that I review in our Amazon affiliate store, as is this stove here. You'll see that below. Our freeze-dried wholesaler link. If you guys are interested in getting stocked up on food now is the time to do it. I'm starting to hear more and more about the diesel truck issue and the death, the diesel exhaust fluid that they don't have. Starting to hear more and more about this, and this could be a real problem and a real food interruption with our deliveries being interrupted. So get yourself some food. The link saves you 15%. Just by clicking my link, you save 15%. Can't beat that. Our My Patriot Supply, that's preparewithiridium.com. Preparewithiridium.com. We got $150 off a 3-month kit. Check it out down there. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store as well. I do have a Thrive video that I'm going to be doing soon. I'm going to be cooking, so make sure you check that out. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Comment, share, subscribe, whatever. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.